Yo, what's up, everybody? Jordan James Sylvia here. Little commute video. Just living the dream, guys. Living the dream. Quite the day. I like to know how I could pull other people on here. You do it straight from Facebook, but I don't know how to do it from this app yet. Gotta play around with that more. But just saw on WPRI. Oh my God. Unbelievable reporting before I even say that. Mike Sylvia reading the most recent police reports, arrest reports from the person who stabbed Will Flanagan. Bro. Unbelievable that people in that situation are on the streets. And I said to Will, like, if I'm him, that would be like my life's mission at that point, is to make sure we keep people like that off the streets. The dude was a ADA, obviously mayor of Fall River, has a business down there on Hartwell Street. You know, the neighborhood right near the bus station. Again, Dave Mead, who commonly comments on here and watches the streams, was attacked at that same area by an unarmed person. But man, when Mike Sylvia was reading those police reports, the kid said he had bugs and spiders or something in his brain, and the government put a probe in his brain or something, and they were tracking him, and they let him out. So again, I have a little bit of experience. Worked in law enforcement for a little bit. Worked in the criminal defense side. I'm a libertarian, so I'm always cognizant of the balance between keeping society safe and, respecting people's civil liberties and freedom. But man, we're getting it wrong so badly. Now remember too, not to make it super political right off the rip, but remember J6, man. You got those old ladies walking through the Capitol building being escorted by police, being treated as domestic terrorists and held in prison for what happened that day. And then also, like, the state, when that Mr. Gonzalez made those statements allegedly per the police report. Jake, what's up? What's up, everybody? That police report where that kid said all those crazy things. He was allegedly being charged with kidnapping his mom and sister at knife point in that thing, and making those crazy statements. So I know one problem with the system right now, guys, is Mike Sylvia kind of alluded to it earlier, where he says, I'm going to tell you how we could fix it right now. Will Flanagan would have never been attacked if we made this one change to the system. Right? Here it comes. Someone was commenting on Mike Sylvia's feed saying, oh, well, that case got, some sort of disposition because, like, people didn't show up to testify or something. So, if you go to kidnap your family member or something, and they know it's in a mental health crisis, and say months go by, they didn't, then they may not keep showing up to court. Oh my goodness, Jake, that's hilarious. But just because if the government is aware that you make statements that there's like bugs and spiders in your brain and someone planted a probe in your brain to track you in the middle of committing a crime with a knife point to two unarmed female family members, and they happen to not go back to court, you don't just say, oh, nobody wants to press charges. Because, hey, that's the other thing, though, is like, I have to look into that more. Because the government will go forward on that. And, you go with the evidence you have. But again, on some level, it shouldn't even have been a criminal justice response. He was committing crimes, yes, but he probably couldn't even have been held accountable for that because he didn't have the mental wherewithal. First they would have had to find him competent to stand trial, then they would have had to find him competent to be held accountable for his acts. Basically, I forget the specific term if anybody knows it. Jeff, what's up? But that he committed the act but couldn't be held criminally culpable because he didn't have mental capacity. Because basically, not guilty by reason of insanity. In Massachusetts, they don't call it that. But just the fact that the dude, whatever, some sort of criminal response, people have to have the conversation like, bro, people need to be held civilly in mental hospitals. That's the problem. That's the crux. Right now I'm driving, right? 5:23, day before Halloween, rainy, cold. There's all these people just like that Mr. Gonzalez outside, right outside of Kelly Buchanan's fucking house. She's been going for years, saying there's a bunch of crazy people committing crimes right outside my house, sleeping in the rain in tents. And Sean Kadim's posting that the city council president needs to have a statue made of them because I guess they do just such a good job for the city of Fall River. And I know it was in tongue in cheek, but dude, no elected official in Fall River on the city side, on the state side, Alan Sylvia, Carol Fiola, obviously the federal government, Jake Auchincloss, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey. None of them people can fucking think they did a good job. You know what I mean? Society has crumbled under all of their watches. They're absolutely allowing insane people on the streets, violent people, right out in broad daylight. The people who live there call the cops all the time and say, I think, go to the meetings. Jay Rizzo, what up? I bet Rizzo wants a statue of Linda Pereira out there. He probably thinks that's a good idea. But yeah, what was it? 800 calls for service to those homeless camps. They said that kid Corey was homeless. I also don't want to forget. Remember that girl Angel? Someone reached out to me. Hey, she died in that camp, and they're saying it's an OD, and they're still waiting for a rape exam to come out. It's just been an absolute shit show. So for any of these people, they're all running for re-election next Tuesday. Saying they do such a great job for Fall River. Fucking criminal colonies out in the woods, not like deep in the woods. Just roaming the streets. Nikki Fontaine, she's the fast response person or something. The city, I'm sorry, I'm obviously always that guy, so I really don't have to apologize. Everyone knows it from me. The government center right now. That's why it just looks like I'm in the gates of the bowels of hell. Yellow. That was government center on the highway. But all these people have horribly failed the city of Fall River. I've never been responsible for it. I've never been elected. You know me. I'm too brutal with the things that I say. But you got Ricky Tiff on there now. Who else? Michelle, Andrew Raposo. I don't know how you could go to those meetings over and over and over and over and over again, cash the paycheck. It's not a ton of money, but they should be volunteer positions. They're all complete failures. We shouldn't pay city councils. We shouldn't pay school committee members in Florida. The school performance is awful. And again, like Coogan has to lie and say everything's great. He's done a great job. Wow. I must sound like a broken record. Free pack of ramen noodles, baby. They tell you if you can't afford to pay, a 10x overhead, a 20x overhead on a trash bag, that you should just feed your kids more ramen noodles. And they get reelected. So let's be real, guys. End of the day, it's our fault. It's the rank and file people in Fall River that are going to the polls on Tuesday. And like I said, the city council. Oh, Michael Canuel from Fiorentina tonight. Let's vote for him now. He seems like a good. I love saying that. I'm worse than Carlos Caesar. You can get an endorsement from me for like a $10 pizza, Fiorentina. Just kidding, guys. He seems like a decent guy. Seems to be a little consensus forming that Canuel seems like a decent guy. I like Lima. He seems more like a decent guy, but he's also a little out there, so I love that. But it's funny it's tricky with the endorsements and stuff because you don't want to look like a page shill like Carlos just did. But I love that Larry Elder. I don't know if anybody else watches Larry Elder. Oh, and I also watched Tucker Carlson yesterday with Nick Fuentes. Oh boy, what an interview that was! Woo! Can't talk about that stuff. But if you, oh man, hold on. If you have an endorsement of someone that you actually like, and in their case it was products that they were hawking. If you actually like them, then you could say you like them and let them pay you. No, I don't get. Well, I mean, I guess you could say I get paid if I sell them. They buy pizza off me. Ricky Tiff, he puts his pen to paper pretending to write. Oh my God. Listen, Steve. Ricky invited me to the Buddhist temple, and I've been wanting to go there for years. It's like a block away from my house. And he said, I want to take my son in there too. I think he said maybe Saturday. I think he said this Saturday. So if that's the case, I'm going to go in there. Is that one girl, Sophia Hunt or something? She's been calling me a slow clown for 10 years. She scares me. She seems a little off the wall. But whatever. She doesn't like me. She accuses me of being a racist. I never said anything racist. She says I say that Cambodian people eat cats. And I said, if you could produce a screenshot of me saying that, I'll give you $1,000 cash. And then she went away because they're all liars and incompetent. Their little crews of like trolls. Oh, let's talk about trolls too. I'm gonna start releasing the trolls. So I have Melissa Costa. She's the first one I'm gonna unleash because I keep seeing her pop up harassing everybody. I have her blocked because I just got tired of her. Like, she reminds me of like her eyes remind me of like all the school shooters. Just I'm not saying she's ever done that, or I don't know her medical history of if she takes prescription drugs or not, but she scares the hell out of me with the eyes. And her videos out there when she ran for school committee, she calls everyone a racist. Whatever. Well, I just blocked her because I wasn't really like, it just got old. It's kind of lame. But I'm gonna unblock her. I'm gonna have benchmarks for every followers we get. Certain thousands of followers. That girl Amy's gonna be 5,000 followers. We're gonna unleash Amy because she seems to be like the king troll in Fall River. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Corey, oh, he's bad. Steve, he's terrible. And I know what I love too, the Fall River phenomenon. I don't know if it's politics in general, but like they act like they're your friend. Like when I went in there, oh, Mr. Sylvia, oh, how you doing? He knew I was just gonna call them all incompetent, and he's pretending like the guy is like, likes me. Probably has a Jordan Sylvia voodoo doll in his house, But when I say, oh, hey, how you doing, buddy? It's like, dude, you're not my friend. Are you kidding me? I don't have friends like you. That's crazy talk. What up? What up, Karchi? Oh, yeah. The superintendent. That's a whole nother story. Poor Colin, man. I feel bad because Colin was, I went there kind of support Colin. That 10, again, there's so many bad things going on in Fall River. You forget to mention them all. Like $10 million lawsuit against the schools for Diddy freak offs in the schools. 10 million. That's why I went to the meeting. And then, the tragedy as I was there, that's kind of weird, man. Like, as I was there going to kind of support the issue with Colin, his uncle's being almost stabbed to death the other end of the city at the exact same time. Absolutely nuts. And again, I just think, yeah, the city's safe. I'm Jeff. I better quit exaggerating it. The sickest part about the Flanagan thing was this. When I was saying, oh, we'll see what happens now. Lawyer practicing in Bristol County gets almost stabbed to death. Former DA. Maybe the justice system will take it serious. But the sickest part of that is if Will Flanagan's name was Will Williams, it would have been like page 10 news. No one would have cared. Would be like, oh, some other guy got stabbed on Hartwell Street. Nothing would change. I don't think anything's going to change anyway. Cops are chasing people. Yeah, they just chase people all the time. That's a tough job, man. And then I guess when they went to grab the kid, he obviously assaulted 4 police officers because I think Will said he was in mid-psychosis. I mean, obviously you can't make a diagnosis like that, but fair to say he was fucked up. Poor kid. And now society's going to fail him again right in front of us. It's going to be a slow-moving train wreck and see, what's going to happen with this kid. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put in the comments how long you think this kid will be off the streets of Fall River. 6 months? 2 years? I'm like forever, right? I'm like 50 years, mental hospital, whatever, for his own good. He thinks people are inserting probes in his brain. You can't have people walking like that. So maybe they'll get him stabilized, his meds, and then let him out. Nuts. And again, I said this on Mike Sylvia's video about the kid. It's sad, whatever, that kid did that to Flanagan, but he's not alone. They have him temporarily. There's other people in Fall River walking the streets like that. And I said that when I used to work law enforcement. Criminals, I've dealt with criminals, gangbangers, who know what they're doing, say they sell drugs. They don't want to go to jail. They live by self-preservation. They're not your scariest ones. Your scariest people are legit mental ill people, like that person, I think his name was Cook, who killed Tommy Junta, Fall River police officer. The mentally ill are the real dangerous people, and then there are more of them on the streets of Fall River right now. Who the fuck is doing anything about that? Sean Kadim? Sean Cadine holding an emergency meeting that his old boss, Will Flanagan, who hired him as city administrator, was almost fucking stabbed to death. Anybody doing anything? Who's on the public safety committee on the city council? None of those people know what the fuck they're doing. They've never served in public safety. They just like they have these positions and they have 9 people to pull from, and they just kind of like pick and choose and place people on those little committees that don't do shit. So I don't think anything's gonna change. And like the Florida police, man, you as far as the local level in the city, like they snatch up the guys every time, you know, and they hand them off to the criminal justice system, and then that's where I think we get failed, right? Again, judges, DAs, you know, with the quaffs and the whatevers. But I think it's mental illness, and they need to be treated in hospitals. You know, hospitals like lockdown facilities, never let loose. You know, if you do something like that, bro, it's like sorry, it's like a fucking. If you were an animal, dude, they would never let you back. They would probably put you down. If you were like a dog who did that to someone, I believe they euthanize you. And I'm not trying to be mean. Just saying it has to be a permanent removal from society when you do that. And I hope Will Flanagan fucking rallies that and you know calls for that and crusades for it. That's what needs to happen. Hold on 1 second. Picking up my nephew. 1 second. Did you? Busy life of a dad. Coogan and Combs. Oh my God, Mr. Frank. What is that, Mr. Oh, wow. Anti-Coogan here. Yeah, let me ask you this. I'm on my way to Fiorentina. Tammy, I love you so much. Tammy's supporting. I'm gonna kill the audio 1 sec, real quick. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Sorry. Oops, sorry. Just hanging out with my brother-in-law. 1 second, guys. What's up, everybody? Yo! But yeah, sorry. Just picking up my nephew, so I killed the volume. Just doing some uncle stuff. Oh, what the hell? Tammy, I appreciate you supporting Fiorentina, girl. That's huge. Love everybody who wants the. I don't know. Is there a World Series game tonight? If there is, everyone order food. We got that apple pie pizza. I had a piece cold last night and it was phenomenal. I'm obviously biased because it's my pizza place, but it was fire. Fire, fire. Can't see. World Series Game 6. Jake, who has the lead? Who won last night? The Dodgers? Bro, I heard that Japanese kid had 8 home runs in the postseason. Like the pitcher there. Ohani? What's his name? Ohani? I don't follow baseball. Oh, tomorrow. That's all right. People should still order tonight for the game tomorrow. Celtics probably got a big loss on deck tonight. Oh, Toronto. All right, they're 1 game out. Oh, we don't want the Canadians to win. We need the Dodgers to win. We don't want Canadians. There's got to be a tariff on that World Series title. Only give them 3/4 of the trophy. But yeah, just doing some stuff. I forgot what we were talking about. I'm sorry I lost the momentum, guys. I know we were talking about Paul Flanagan and people being stabbed. Raptors. Are the Celtics playing the Raptors tonight, Barry? The Celtics suck too, so I mean, what are you gonna do? Who's worse, I guess? Jody, what's up, everybody? Tammy, what did you get from Fiorentina? Hope it's gonna be good. It should be good. So we got some time. We're running a little late right now. Gotta step on it. NBA. Barry's not a fan of the NBA. Barry's more of a Euro League guy. You know what's a good sport? Boxing. For the kids. Ooh, good exercise. Excuse me. At least Patriots are back in the swing. Wow, this just turned into the Hurricane Sports Show. I still have to see if I could sue WSAR for him trashing me on their private citizen, saying I should go jump off the Braga Bridge. If he had to suffer one day in my life, and then we traded places, that he would jump off the bridge. Wow, that's cap. I'm calling major cap on that, Mike Aaron. Heard somebody post today about WSAR is biased for Coogan. They are not biased. That's poppycock. They play it right down the middle. Old Wayne Rigo. Sean Kadeem's uncle. Or godfather or something. I don't know. Portuguese Fall River politics. Some sort of incestuous link between them. Maybe they'll put a statue of Wayne Rigo downtown. Right at one of the schools. Freak offs. Oh my God. Let's hope not. I don't know. But it is factual to say Paul Coogan's brother was named in the lawsuit about the freak offs. I don't think they alleged he partook. I think they just said he didn't stop it. Yikes. But yeah, freak offs. Forget the freak offs, like just the schools in general. Like kids are supposed to learn how to read and do math and think for themselves, and instead it's like, what's your pronouns? Organizing No Kings protests for the student body. Yikes. And they say there's no indoctrination. I'm not buying that. Also, they want to lock your kids into the school. Not to throw people's business out there, but a good friend of mine this week told me his grandson was having. I'm sorry, his granddaughter was having a problem at the schools. Violent threats made, and you know, I spoke to somebody else this past weekend about getting your kids out of the Florida public schools. I keep telling them, dude, they made it illegal to send your kids to the school my kids go to, Tech Online Charter School. Anthony, what's up, buddy? What's up, Anthony? Everyone should check out Anthony's videos. I was watching some last night. You probably saw me liking and comment on. Kid can spin a knife upside down on his hand, then grab the knife, and I want him to throw a slice of Fiorentina pizza in the air and stick it to a tree with a knife. No joke, Anthony's knife skills are like probably no one in Massachusetts has skills like that. What this kid can do with a knife, it's insane. Super cool. Durfee, oh yeah, it's probably daily, Jeff. I mean, of course you're gonna have fights in the schools. Thank God that's all it's been. There's a couple reports. I remember at the beginning of the year, they thought someone had a weapon in Diamond. That's the shit that's like societal wide. I was like, kids grabbing weapons or whatever. Super young kids always getting caught with firearms in Fall River. And they're never licensed LTC holders, of course. But they want to restrict legal people from defending themselves with firearms. Good, Anthony. Bomb threat at Diamond. Yeah, I never know why they took bomb threats serious. Like, clearly they're all fake. So you got a spelling test on Friday, you're throwing in a bomb threat. No one's placing bombs in the school, No one in the schools has the capacity to do that. But they do a fire drill or something. I don't know. They act like they're credible. Weird. But I don't know. It's just sad for all our kids. And I will say this, as a father of 4 kids, it's like one of my main goals in life is to raise my kids and my sons, more importantly, to not have to use weapons and in that way. Maybe when they get older, learn how to defend themselves. My son asked me the other day, my 12-year-old, he's like asking me about shooting guns, and I said it's kind of a sin that at 12 he's never touched a firearm. So I'm gonna have to teach him how to use a firearm, for self-defense purposes. It's kind of a red-blooded American thing to do. In Massachusetts, it's like so horrible to think of a child using weapons like that. Well, like I said, when I was in basic training, one of the kids who slept on the side of me, he was like a statewide rifle champion from Arkansas when he was like a child. Different states treat guns like totally differently. It's like part of the fabric. Massachusetts, everyone's afraid of guns because all they see is like, criminal element with it. I tell everyone, license to carry is definitely something you should do, And I say that from someone who's facing decades in prison for carrying and while having a little alcohol in my system or a lot. And that always miffed me. I never understood, like, just, yeah, I guess you don't want it to be like the Wild West. But if you have, like, I don't know, you have a little cocktail, you forfeit your Second Amendment right. It's just, I'm sure I'll get totally pilloried for that, but I mean, to me, it still to this day doesn't make total sense to me. Or even like the gun-free zone thing. Like, dude, you're constantly always responsible for your self-defense. So I don't know why we don't teach our kids how to responsibly, like, again, man, if you wanted to show your kid how to use a knife, like, respectfully, safely, you probably have, like, Anthony train him. Because, again, if you guys check out this kid's videos, nuts the skills that he has with a knife. But I know Massachusetts, everyone's terrified. But there's less lethal out there too, like those burner guns, the pepper balls, or it's like aluminum or steel balls they shoot. Tasers. I'm not a fan of tasers. I've seen them fail too many times, especially if it's the one you just apply pressure with. It's just like a pain control. But I hate to even. One thing Flanagan said on the WPRI, he said one thing he wanted people to know, raise attention to, was to stay vigilant of your surroundings. So again, I've had a psychiatrist at the VA tell me that I have this condition called hypervigilance. It's like, I don't know, they say it's like a step down from PTSD, but it's just from the way I was brought up. I mentioned this the other day, whether it's the projects and law enforcement, and obviously military. And I tell my kids all the time, if you see someone, phenomenal book is The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. If you see someone who, oh man, that looks familiar. That looks familiar. That's weird. Comes to find out, he's been stalking your wife for like 6 months. So that's why subconsciously she's like, oh, that guy looks familiar. Because he does. Always trust your gut, you know? They talk about like profiling and stuff like that. Someone looks, if you saw, I'm not trying to be a jerk right now. You saw Mr. Gonzalez, anything I guess. You saw Mr. Gonzalez walking down the street, right? Sign number one, his face is all tatted up. Are you just going to assume that person's like just a totally safe, domesticated dude? You want to go try to grab my son real quick? Yeah. Thank you, buddy. I'll give a beep. Okay. If they need help to come out, let me know, all right? Yeah, 100%, Jake. Sorry about that. Like I said, it'll switch to Wi-Fi. Look, we just seen the sun go from up to down in the time that I've been here. I probably gotta go grab my kids. Jake is right though. That swivel thing is the real deal. Coming. Yeah, I'm gonna cap it there, guys, just because I gotta grab my littlest. But I love you guys. Peace out. Huh?